Okay. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy pregame day. I want to start off by saying this, man. What a difference. What a difference a week makes. Last week around this time, I was in the highest of highs. Sunday came and went, and then came the lowest of lows. But guess what? We right back at it this week. We right back with the good energy. We right back with this, what some people might say is a must-win situation already in week 2. But I feel that. So please let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the visual is good. Just let me know in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up, or give me, just let me know that I'm good. Just put good in the comment section. Shout out to everybody that's already in the building. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Let the algorithm know that we're in the building, and it'll let other Giants fans know that we are absolutely in the building. Let me go ahead and get my background music going just a little bit. It's a little quiet in here. Give me just a moment. I'm going to go down. I think we're going to do that this week. But shout out to everybody. Do a quick roll call for the people that's in the building. I do want to say a special shout out to my man Kylo. He let me know early. This was from early this morning. He said, Dash, I want you to be great. Put on the best content. Fix the autocorrect the typo. Yeah, thank you very much. I went ahead and corrected the preview that was written in there, but I appreciate the love and support as always. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox starting early with the Let's Go $5 super chat. Hold on, let me get my theme music going. I need dollar is what I need. Hey. I need dollar. I appreciate it. Joseph, how you doing tonight? Hopefully tomorrow is better than what it was last week. I'm hoping so. How the grandkids doing? Just let me know in the comment section. See how everybody doing. All right, let's get to the roll call. Shout out to my man Notorious HAN in the building. Said, how bad will tomorrow be? I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's not bad at all tomorrow. I'm hoping that's, maybe last week was a fluke. Maybe the coaches wake up. And maybe they start doing the right thing. Maybe they start playing people correctly. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe last week was just shaking off the coaching cobwebs. Maybe that's what it is. At least I hope that's what it was. I don't know if that was what it was, though. Shout out to my man DeMarco. Says, Dash, what's good, Brody? What's going on? DeMarco, my man Jessa, always in the building. What's going on? Jessa said, yo, what's going on? Jessa Junior Plays is in the building. Said, yeah. Coach D in the building says, Brooklyn in the house. I should use that as a sound bite, too. I like that. Thor82 said, what up, Dash? What's going on, Thor? James, let me know that we good. Biceps in the comment section. D-Dan, let me know I'm good. Thor, let me know I'm good. Thank you very much. Mr. What said, hey, Dash, what are your thoughts on Tim from Online Big Blue comparing Carter to Bryce Huff? That guy has been calling out Giants BS for the last 4 years. I am afraid he could be right again. Shout out to my man Tim from Online Big Blue. Listen, Tim has his point of view. Tim keeps it real. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Tim keeps it real. He, to me, and this is my opinion, he's tired of it. He wants to see better, and he's not going to fall for anything unless he sees it first. And that's Tim. As far as comparing Carter to Bryce Huff, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I disagree with that. I know that Tim has somebody that was close to the Penn State team that he, asked questions about Abdul Carter, weaknesses and stuff like that. So he has his own point of view of Abdul Carter, different from mine slightly. But it is what it is. Shout out to my man Tim, though. Tim keeps it real. My man Coach D said, audio visual bid is all good. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thor said, Tim is something else. Now, shout out to Tim. Like I said, Tim keeps it real. Shout out to Tim. Coach D said, was it Parumpa Pum? That like button? That's crazy. Parumpa Pum Pum, the like button is crazy. My man said, goddamn, said, let's go Giants. Doris says they need to put all the weapons on the field together for the big plays. They aren't utilizing the weapons properly, and there are professional coaches making big cheddar. Now, that's a fact, man. Listen, there's a lot of things that I disagree with. How they played some of those players. Just some of the defensive assignments, alignment assignments. The personnel they had playing together. We saw that. I believe it was 8 snaps for Burns, Carter, Tibbs, and Dex. All they had together was 8 snaps. You can't do that, man. And the other thing is this, and we're going to get into it. There's some things to talk about. It's not going to be the same length for the show. Obviously, we got a big fight tonight between Canelo and Bud Crawford. I definitely want to see that fight. So we probably go hour and a half, probably. just so I'm definitely want to see that fight. Family want to see that fight too, so we're gonna hang out together and watch that fight. Let me know in the comment section who you got though for the fight tonight. You got Canelo, you got Bud Crawford. Put that in the comment section. DeMarco says I looked at the game from last week. Carter left so many plays out there because they had him spying. That was so aggravating. Yeah, man. Again, you drafted Abdul Carter to get after the quarterback, not the spy. I will say this though. I think they play. They have to tomorrow. They have to play Dak different because Dak does not have the same threat to run as Jaden Daniels. So for me, I think there won't be any spying at all. Won't be any spying at all. Shout out to my man Mark Thompson in the building. Said good night, Dad. You going to sleep already, Mark? I don't blame you. Stay up and watch the fight though, Mark. It's on Netflix. Stay up and watch the fight. I don't know, Mark. You a boxing fan? Let me know. Let me know if you're a boxing fan or not. I don't know if I ever asked you that question. D-Dan says Tim keeps it funky, can't hate on him. Nah, Tim does. Tim keeps it real. And you know what's great? He's been right. He's been right. There's no optimism with Tim. Tim got to see it. You got to prove it to him. And until you prove it to him, he ain't trying to hear it. And I appreciate that. For me, I tend to lean on the sunnier side of the street until I get pissed off. Once you show me that you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing, then I become an enemy. And cliche, they don't want me as an enemy. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you saw me this week. I was on a rampage this week. I think I was mad all week long. I carried that loss the whole week. I thought I was cool Friday, and then it was a Spaces. They got to talking about the coaches, and then this is what made me mad. I saw the presser with Shane Bowen, and they were talking about, are you going to play Abdul Carter more off the ball because Micah McFadden got injured? And he said that's something that they could do, but he's leaning more towards Darius Moore-Sal stepping in and filling in for Micah McFadden, and that took me to a dark place. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Before it was like, okay, how are we going to get the number 3 pick on the field for enough plays? And then Micah McFadden goes down on. I don't wish injury on Micah McFadden, but he goes down. Now you have a built-in excuse to play Abdul Carter more. Just because he's not going to be playing the way that you want to play him, but he fits a need that the New York Giants have on the defense, and he can do it. He can play off the ball. He absolutely can. Born for Sports in the building. What's going on, Born for Sports? Make sure you guys are subscribed to my man Born for Sports for all your New York sports content. What's going on, Jorge? How we doing tonight, man? Matt in the building. Okay. Thor says he's a realist, no filter. Nah, that's a fact. Shout out to Tim. I know Tim got a show tomorrow morning. I didn't see Tim's show today, though. Is that what you guys are commenting on? Did he go live today? I didn't watch it if he went live today. I'm laughing because I see my man Jay Ferris has entered the building with the $2 super chat. And he says, drain the swamp. That's funny. They do need to drain the swamp, though, man, because listen, all right, Jay Ferris. First thing I'm going to tell you is this, Jay Ferris, because you know what? I always keep it real. Right now, you're looking like you was right. After week 1, you are looking like you are right. Carlton Banks. You know what's crazy? Carlton Banks might have moved better than Russell Wilson did last week. He might have moved a little bit better. But listen. You're right so far. Let's see what happens tomorrow. You know I got to give respect and show respect where respect is due. Right now, you're looking like you was right, brother. My man Pablo Vila is in the building. Says, "What's good, Dad? Salute. Let's go Giants. Need a big win tomorrow against the Cowgirls." Yeah, nah, that's a fact, man. For both teams, it's like a must-win situation because not only does a loser start 0-2, you start 0-2 in the division. That's big for any kind of playoff aspirations that you have. Who knows what happens? So, we might see. Well, we already saw the Commanders lose. Now they're 1-1. You got the Eagles versus the Chiefs. Who knows who wins that game? If we win this game, we'll be right there with everybody else in the division. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. Was it Arlan? Arlan Williams said, "What up? What's going on, Arlan?" Luann, what's going on, Luann? Luann in the building said, "I was a boxing fan when Lennox Lewis and Tyson, George Foreman, and then some." Listen. Boxing ain't what boxing used to be. That's a fact. That's a fact. You're talking about the golden age of boxing when you say some of those names. Boxing has not been that, but it should be a very good fight tonight. I'm going to let everybody know right now I'm going with Crawford. A A lot of people think Canelo's just going to wipe the floor with him. I don't think that's going to happen. My main thing is this when it comes, and we talking boxing just for a quick second, because that's something else that I do. I am a fan of boxing. The one thing for me is this: if Bud Crawford can take a Canelo punch, then the fight should be exciting, and we'll see what happens after that. DeMarco says, I'm right with you, being pissed off all week until I seen the Commanders get belt the ass from Green Bay, and I felt a little bit better. I did feel a little bit better. It did make me feel a little bit better, but it also scared me because that's that same team that was able to do all those things to the Giants. And again, they only scored 14 throughout the first three quarters. Green Bay had them in a blender on Thursday night. Offense, defense had them in a blender. Jaden Daniels didn't know what to do. All he could do was smile at the end of the day. But Green Bay is a bona fide Super Bowl contender. We thought that the Commanders were a bona fide Super Bowl contender, but it shows that there's levels in this. And again, for me, I took the good with the bad. At first, I'm like, okay, yes, the Commanders lost, maybe feel good. But then I thought, okay, if the Commanders look like this versus the Packers, then they look like that against us. Where are we really at? That's why we got to play the game tomorrow. That's why I can't wait for the game tomorrow. My man Ghost Dog, what's going on, Ghost Dog? Another Giants content creator. Make sure you guys subscribe to my man Ghost Dog Big Talk. He says, peace, and salute to Dash. Salute to you too, Ghost Dog. How we doing tonight, man? I'm feeling good. For sure. Coach D says, who's the best boxer anyone has ever actually watched fight? For me, it was Sugar Ray Leonard. Best everybody who was the greatest of his time, fought off the ropes. Better than I ever seen. Yeah, Sugar Ray was nice. I just remember the Hagler fights, and I saw replays of that because I'm a little bit younger than you. Hagler, Hearns, Sugar Ray was something else, man. Heart of a lion. Now we talking about boxing. Sugar Ray had the heart of a lion. Fought everybody. Didn't duck anybody. Duran, shout out to Sugar Ray Leonard, man. That's the golden age of boxing. Them that's late 70s, early 80s. Actually, just 70s, 80s. Going into the 90s, some of the early 2000s, all that was great boxing to watch, man. Great boxing to watch. I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan. Even when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, before he was Money Mayweather. I've been a boxing fan. Shout out to my step pops for that. My step pops made me a boxing fan early on. Greg Farrell says, what up, Dash, from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, by the way of Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to you, Greg. How's Myrtle Beach, man? How's Myrtle Beach? I've never been. I've been through South Carolina, but I've never been to Myrtle Beach. Luann says, can't wait to play home. Yeah, that's a fact. It's going to be Kansas City, but still can't wait. Shout out to my man Jay First with another super chat, $10 super chat. Let's see what he got going on. I need dollar is what I need. He says, I don't want to be right. We love the Giants. We have that bond, but it is not going to but I is not going to be blinded by Carlton and the Giants BS hype from Joe Shane. Not Joe Shane, Joe Shane. It's BS, Canelo by decision, cruise control, Cowboys take the points. What's the spread up to now? Is it still 5.5 or 5? That's where it was at, right? 5? Is it still that? Listen, man, Duran Bland is out. That's their slot corner. Just got a big bag. He's going to be out. For me, man, like when I look at just the talent for both teams, I feel like we should be there. But it's about that scheme. It's about that offensive line. Their offensive line beats our offensive line. Our offensive line really ain't beating too many offensive lines out there anyway. But it's really up to Russ. Like, it's really up to Russ. And we'll see what happens. I saw a video that Steve Smith put out, Agent 89, and he was he was bagging on Russ bad. He called Russ Dusty. That's his new nickname for Russ, Dusty. I didn't like it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Again, I need to see tomorrow, though. Tomorrow is going to be one of those, not really a deciding factor, but it really let me know exactly what I need to expect from Russ and how fast we move on to the next quarterback. And the crazy thing about that is this too, man, because they went with Dart, or they named Dart quarterback too, you're not going to see Jameis. I thought if Russ struggled early, you might go to Jameis first, but once you put Dart as quarterback too, that's the next quarterback up. And if he has to come in there early, we're going to see some growing pains for sure. I thought at least maybe 4 or 5 games before we see him. Actually, I didn't want to see him at all, but again, Russ got me scared right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Russ got me a little bit nervous. Ian Campbell says, facts, there's levels to this now. Yeah, the Commanders thought they was something. They wasn't that. And then you know what's crazy? So, after that loss, I was happy. Enjoyed them losing. But what was even better was this. Friday morning, I jumped into the Commander spaces, and the crash out was beautiful. The crash out was beautiful. They was mad at everybody. They were mad at the players. They said Jaden Daniels got to be better. They were was the money worth it for Scary Terry? It was just beautiful, right? And maybe that's why we as Giants fans go through so much pain, because we still take so much pleasure in other people's pain. And they say God don't like ugly, man. We got to be better about that, I guess. Luann says, unfortunately, Dash, this is our preseason. You were saying that too, Luann. That the starters got to play together. It takes a couple games for these guys to get warmed up and all. I understand where you're going with that, but they played in the preseason more. Our starters played this preseason more than they've ever played under Brian Dable. There's no excuses for me. Dexter Lawrence got to get in shape, though. That's one thing I did notice going back and watching those games. Dexter Lawrence got to get in football shape. He is not quite there yet in football. Well, actually, he's not there at all when it comes to being in football shape. Maybe he might be better this week, as the weeks go on, but he is not in game shape, that's for sure. Other than that, man, guys got to make the plays. Guys got to make the tackles. We saw it again. Guys got to be disciplined. Guys got to win the one-on-one battles. That's what I got from rewatching these games. I will say this, though, man. That second drive was encouraging just a little bit when we were able to move the ball downfield, but ended up with the field goal. 16 plays. You got to come up with 7 somehow. 16 plays. You can't do that. But we saw them move the ball a little bit. We saw that we were able to run the ball to the outside way more than we were able to do it up the middle. We got to get the running backs involved in the short passing game too. When your offensive line can't hold up, I'm assuming and I'm hoping that we see a couple of screen plays tomorrow. We didn't run one screenplay to the running back last week. I don't know what happened with Kafka. Just didn't make the adjustments, man. Just didn't make the adjustments. What was it? Carl Banks did the coach's strategy with Brian Dable, where they go and look at some of the plays from last week, some of the successful plays from last week. And, it kind of makes you feel a little better, because at the end of the day, you're watching Brian Dable talk ball, and it looks like he knows what he's talking about. As far as the play design, what went wrong, what went right, stuff like that. Makes me feel better about his knowledge. But again, you got to throw it together, and it got to equal the wins at the end of the day. And right now, nobody's happy, and everybody's calling for the coaches and the GMs. It was a good 4 months for Joe Schoen. It was a good 4 months for Joe Schoen, where free agency, everybody's happy with free agency, everybody's happy with the draft. You get through training camp, get through the preseason, and then everything falls apart week 1. He was on cloud 9 for about 4 months, and then everything came back after just one game. And everybody's looking at everybody like, is it deja vu? Is it going to change? What's going on? It is what it is. Jay Ferris says, Dart by the Chiefs game. Again, I'll check in tomorrow. Tomorrow I might be screaming, but hopefully I'm not. Shout out to my man, heavyweight champ, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He says, woo! Fire Dable now. DJ was never the problem. Woo! Now listen for the people, because there's a lot of DJ fans still, Giants fans that are still DJ fans. They play the Broncos tomorrow. Check in after the game. You guys might be right. You guys might be wrong. But we already know that Daniel Jones is good for a game or two, where everybody's like, okay, all right, look like we got something here, and then everything falls apart. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with the Colts versus Broncos. It is what it is. Jay Ferris says, fire everyone. My man Tyrone Hall, what's going on, Tyrone Hall? He says, by the way, salute to the chat. That's a fact. That's a fact. Q Cox says, y'all better win. Shout out to Q Cox. Shout out to your Minnesota Vikings, man. Talking about a game. I was on Twitter like the entire game. In those first 3 quarters, they was giving JJ McCarthy the hardest time. It was people crawling up from under rocks from 2 years ago, talking about, I told you about JJ McCarthy. And then what he do in the fourth quarter? What he do in the fourth quarter, man? Yeah, shout out to J.J. McCarthy, man. And shout out to Michael Penix, too, another guy that I wanted as a quarterback back in 2024. Yeah, Michael Penix looks like the real deal. That was a fantastic game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, too, man. His wide receiver sold him out. Some big drops at the end of the game. They probably beat Tampa Bay. Right now, they fighting, though. Jay Ferris says, our coaches suck. Mav Prick says, do we have any real chance without Andrew Thomas again? It ain't about Andrew Thomas, because Andrew Thomas has nothing to do with that interior offensive line. Even though the interior offensive line, was the worst. Actually, nah, because Hudson didn't play well either. I still want Marcus Bowe in there, but it's not about Andrew Thomas. We knew Andrew Thomas wasn't going to be there since like March. We had the understanding that he might not be ready to go at the beginning of the season, even though they tried to sell us some hoop dreams. But that's not an excuse. Andrew Thomas not being there is not an excuse. You got to learn how to win without Andrew Thomas. Because what have we been doing? We've been playing a lot of games without Andrew Thomas. We restructured his deal, push the money, over the next couple of years. So he's going to be here unless somebody just loves him and wants to trade for him type deal. But we got to learn to win without him. Hold on, let me get caught up a little bit. Lucas, what's going on, Lucas? He says, every Giants fan is down, but we are not out. He says this game is going to define our season, in my opinion. I hope so, man. I hope so. My man Paul says there will never be anyone greater than Muhammad Ali in boxing. That's a fact. Nobody. I don't care what the record is. I don't care. And Muhammad Ali was the greatest. Pulverizing. We got. Let me see. My man, a dad's life. What's going on? He says, if Russ is Dookie again, I want to see Winston. He'll sling it guaranteed. The problem is you already made Dart QB2. If you would have made Dart QB3, you can sneak Winston in there. Because Winston, first of all, Winston is 6'5". A lot of people forget that. He natural throwing lanes, he can see down the field. That's why he throws the ball so much. That's why he trusts his arm so much, because he can see the receivers down there. Now, sometimes he might be a little colorblind and he goes to the other side. But now, I thought the natural progression was going to be Wilson to Winston to Dart, but it looked like they're just going with Dart, and that's what a lot of people are waiting for. If you're gonna lose, go ahead and put the rookie in. That's how people feel. Hurst for real is making a good point here. He says unfair to Dart to rush him. That's a fact. But you know how it is when you get a rookie quarterback in the first round. People want to see him. I think it's too early too. He looked like he's ready to play. He says all the right things. They had him at his locker. He said all the right things, talking about being a backup and getting people prepared for the game. Being a good scout QB for the other teams. Trying to imitate other people's quarterbacks and stuff like that. So that's what he did this week. But he said also after regular practice, after practice is over, he stays later and then does his own installs with the actual Giants offense for the week, which is fantastic. He gets other receivers to stay back with him. That way he can get that extra work because he needs that. He needs to get prepared for sure. Jay Hernandez says Clemson really lost again today. Yes, they did. They did. I don't know how far they drop after this either. Georgia Tech is for real. Jay he dunked on Russ. That's a fact. DeMarco says, hold on. I'm going to come back to yours, DeMarco. It was another comment that I saw. Oh, no. All right, I got that. I got that one already. DeMarco says, I heard you say it's up to Russ. Is it really up to Russ, or is it actually up to the O-line so Russ can be Russ? Yes and yes. We saw last week where he didn't have a clean, let's be honest, he didn't have a clean pocket often, but there was still some plays left on the field. Now, the offensive line did horribly trying to protect him. He was on his back a lot. So, everything plays a role. But at the end of the day, can your quarterback lift you up? Can he be the force multiplied? Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Jessa says, if we lose tomorrow, MetLife fans going to eat Russ for breakfast Sunday night, home opener, KC 0-2. Listen, I'm assuming you got KC losing to the Eagles tomorrow, Jessa? Is that what you mean by the 0-2, or you talking about us being 0-2 and then having KC for the opener? Just for clarity. Luann says, remember we got the division at home. Okay, we get the division at home. Giants will win games. I'm hoping playoffs, but with Dart. Now you've been on the Dart train heavy now, Luann. You've been on the Dart train heavy. I understand. We'll see what happens though, man. Like I said, the one thing that obviously Dart has over both of these quarterbacks is the athleticism. He's an RPO threat. They have to respect his legs. They don't respect Russ's legs. Obviously, they don't respect Winston's legs. So when you insert Dart, defense are gonna have to play you a little bit differently. But I'm saying for us and for Russell Wilson, we saw it last week. There was a couple times he was able to get out, escape, and make and run for the first down. Is he all the way cooked? Are the legs all the way cooked? Didn't look like it. But again, the way he was taking his eyes from downfield and concentrating on the pass rush, those are the early signs of possibly being cooked as a quarterback. We saw the same thing with Eli Manning in the later years. He took such a beat in those last 3 years that by the time we got to that final season, he wasn't the same Eli anymore. And that's what happens at some of the early stages or some of the tall tale signs that it's over for you. That it's possibly over for you. Jay Ferris with the $5 super chat. He says, "Okay, Homer, Russ didn't have a clean pocket. Give the picks." He said, "Give the picks, Canelo Cowboys. Dart's first start right now. Stop selling wolf tickets to your fans." I am a homer. I'm absolutely a homer. Absolutely. Always going to root for the New York Giants. Every game we got a chance. That's how I am. I don't concede games before they happen. That's a fact. But I did keep it real with Russ. I said sometimes the pocket wasn't clean, sometimes it was. He didn't take advantage of every opportunity. There was a couple plays of Slayton. Both of them could have been touchdowns. That's keeping it real. Oh, what we got? David Bourne. Sorry, David Bourne says, "Is it just me or does Tracy look a little slower than he did last year, or is it the O-line's deficiencies that's making him look slow?" It's the O-line's deficiencies. He hasn't changed. Listen, we saw him when he bounced it. He had the toss play, then he had the stretch play. He was able to get positive yards on that. He still got the bounces. Just that, what do you do as soon as you get the handoff, you got the opposing team in your face already. You got to try to spin move, shake him, dance a little bit, and sometimes it doesn't work. And that's what we saw. I'm hoping if we can get some running lanes going. I'm curious to see who the inactives are tomorrow. What's his name? Neil probably gets a shirt, probably gets a jersey, maybe he gets inserted, possibly. Pause. But again, you got to make some changes up front, man. You got to change the blocking scheme. You got to simplify the blocking scheme. My man is a five-string fling. The Art Law says, "I have more faith that the San Francisco Giants have a better chance of beating Dallas than us." That's crazy. I understand where you're coming from, but that's crazy. Jay Ferris says, "Joe Shane did interviews and he loved being on camera. Then he is back in his cave again." Yeah. When things aren't good, he goes right back into his cave. You saw him at the presser before preseason. He was pounding his chest a little bit. He was feeling himself. I don't blame him. On paper, it looked good. Game 1, something happened. You can't find him. I don't blame him. He did pound his chest a little bit though, because he was talking about people telling him what to do, this, that, and he was feeling himself a little bit. Luann says, "Dash, no GM, a coach is perfect. Giant fans need to chill. I'm tired of firing." Listen, it's 4 years. He already got 2 more years than everybody else since Coughlin. You got to really look at the situation, and you really got to look at some of these players, not just the Daniel Jones situation. Ben Bredesen looked like he might be a Pro Bowl guard in Tampa. Matt Pert was doing okay with Denver last year and filling in. Sterling Shepard went to Tampa Bay and still got some juice left. That was last year. Haven't seen much this year yet. But we see people leave. Feliciano went to San Francisco, put in a good year. We got to be honest here. Look at it's not the players on the paper. We got to figure out I can't necessarily. It's the coaching, Luann. It's the coaching. It's the coaching for sure. More the coaching than it is the GM. Like, nobody was really mad at the draft. Nobody was mad at free agency. Nobody was really mad at Joe Schoen until the first game. And then Van Roten looked like trash. JMS looked like trash. Runyon looked like trash. And who brought all those guys in? Joe Schoen. It is what it is. It is what it is. Jay Ferris says it's going to be interesting if DJ balls on. Yeah, if he balls against the Broncos, we're not going to hear the end of it. We are not going to hear the end. They already was sending out apology letters to Daniel Jones after last week's performance against the bum-ass Miami Dolphins. But if you beat the Broncos, my eyebrows is going to raise for sure. And it just looks even worse on Brian Dable if Daniel Jones looks good again against tougher competition. Shout out to my man Mark Thompson. He says the only way this regime survives is if Dart is him. Point blank, period. He says there has been a cacophony of bad decisions. That's a fact. Cacophony. Yeah. Jay Fred says Q Cox just smile in the dark room. I'll find him. Why are you talking about? He's being respectful. Shout out to my man Q Cox, man. He's being respectful, Jay Ferris. Don't pick on him. Now, if that dude from the Commanders show up, which I don't think he's going to show up, but if he show up, let that man have it. Pause. Luann says, well, I wanted to keep DJ. I knew he could play. He just needed a line. It's not just that. It's not just, again, a lot of people are drinking that Colts Kool-Aid already. Pump the brakes. Let's see what happens tomorrow. They gave him his flowers and stuff like that, and it's going to look bad. It's going to look bad if he plays well. I'll say this too, though. Just like last year, if the Giants were winning games last year, the whole Saquon Barkley to the Eagles does not hit as hard as it hits if the New York Giants are still winning games and Tyrone Tracy is doing Tyrone Tracy things and stuff like that. Because we were so bad and Saquon Barkley and the Eagles were so good, it made it 10 times worse. It's the same thing. It's the same thing for Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones continues to put good games together, but the New York Giants are also winning and looking good, then nobody's really going to care too much. But if we continue to lose and look as bad as we did last week and Daniel Jones keeps getting better, then yeah. And hopefully by that time, Luann, you'll be on board with the rest of us. You know what it is. I mean, I understand keeping the faith, though, because, again, that's me at the end of the day, too. Tony Bonino, he says, Giants are going to dominate the Cowboys, and people are going to say what happened in the Commanders game. I hope so. Tony. I hope you're 100% right. Coach D says, I'm not changing my stance, even if the Giants win. Dable could not coach. Listen, you guys are on fire in the comments. That's a fact. Hold on. Jay Ferris called Michael Penix a skinny buyer. I do want to talk about this game a little bit and some things that I think I'm going to see. Shout out to my man Clinton Jones in the building. Ryan's Big Blue podcast in the building. Yo, what's going on, Ryan? If you're not subscribed to my man Ryan's Big Blue podcast, make sure you go ahead and do that. Constant guests on there, constantly putting in work, constantly uploading content. Ryan, you're doing a fantastic job over there, brother. Leo Lucas's Big Dash, happy Saturday. What's going on, Leo Lucas? So now let's talk about these Cowboys and these Giants for tomorrow. Obviously, number one thing is being able to run the ball. The number one, and if I do miss your comments, please, just put them again in the comment section, and I'll get to them. You know what I mean? But I think the Giants overcorrect. I think they go heavy set, double tights, 12 personnel. But if they're going to do that, I do believe they'll be able to run the ball to the edges. Get the ball outside, they'll be able to do it and go to the quick game. That's what I think the New York Giants should do. Now, if we're getting in this game and it shows that the offensive line is doing a fairly good job, then you could probably open up the playbook and start going down the field a little bit. But I think we start this game very conservative, trying to run the ball outside, getting the ball out quick to the wide receivers. That's what I think happens. Defensively, I'm curious because I saw a post that said that Trayvon Diggs might travel with Malik Neighbors tomorrow. And for me, when I think about anybody trying to guard Malik Neighbors one-on-one, I'm not worried about it. It's when they start to shade and get the double team, which he's seeing a lot of that already. That's when it causes the problems because the Giants have proven that they go heavy Malik Neighbors and they don't really focus on the flow of the game. And I understand you get the ball on Malik Neighbors, good things should happen. And that's what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, you got to call the game the correct way, not just call the game to make Malik Neighbors happy. And I'm hoping that Kafka just really believes that because you got guys that can play. You got guys that you should be able to target. Malik Neighbors takes so much attention. Safeties, cornerbacks. You already got two guys focusing on Malik Neighbors. Find where the mismatch is. Is it the tight end? Is it the running back out in the flat? Is it the check down? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? And I would hope, and I think this is true. I would hope that if the team is successful on offense, but Malik Neighbors just so happened might not have gotten the target on that drive, hopefully he's still happy. And I think that's at the end of the day, I think he wants to win too. It's not just personal stats for him, but he's also a wide receiver. They're half diva at the end of the day. So he's going to want the ball, but I just need this offense to do their thing. Do their thing. Coach Z says, when a young quarterback bails instead of throwing or resetting, you can fix it. When an old QB balls instead of throwing or resetting, it's over. The early signs, that's what we was talking about, man. Once he starts paying more attention to the blockers in front of him and not what's going on down the field, time to sound the horns and the trumpets. That's what happens. Luann says, Dash, Russ pissed me off. Could score on goal. Yeah, you couldn't score on the goal line. Dart would have. It's possible. Listen, man, he almost got into the end zone too. When he scrambled, he almost fumbled, but he got flipped. And Young and Russ probably gets in the end zone. Dart probably gets in the end zone there. Maybe Jameis Winston even gets in the end zone there. All I know is there were plays left on the field for sure. That's all I can say. There were some opportunities out there. Not a lot of them, but there were opportunities out there. The defense got you the ball back 5 times, made the Commanders punt 5 times. Like, come on. We didn't play complimentary football at the end of the day. And that's what happens when you don't play complimentary football. And the defense wasn't perfect. But they did get you the ball back 5 times. You got to do something with that. 6 points? 6 points ain't enough for the NFL. Not in 2025. I'm sorry. Shout out to the Big Moo in the building. Says, yo, Big Dash, why is everyone saying Bobby O was not playing well? Last I looked, he led the league in tackles last week with 18. It was 16. But I'll say this. People focus more on the bad than the good. So, yes, he had 16 tackles. But it's the tackles that he missed that people focus on. And that's all they focus on. So they pretty much throw away the 16 tackles, all of the good tackles and all the good plays he made. They throw that away, and they look at that one little short dump off pass to Eckler where he shook him and got big yardage. They look at that and say, "Yo, Bobby lost a step," and that's just what people focus on. That's the human part of it, man. They see that it stays fresh in their mind, and they don't even pay attention that the man has 16 tackles and is leading the league in tackles this season. I don't believe that he lost a step. I just thought that Eckler made a good play. He shook him. It is what it is. Do we got to make that play? Absolutely. Absolutely. But now I get what you're saying. DJ 100 grand says, y'all not ready for us. It's been 10 years for you guys getting a beat down and will not stop tomorrow. Listen, man. Listen. So we got our first Cowboy fan in the building. It's a big game for y'all too. I understand y'all playing with a little bit more confidence because y'all took the Philadelphia Eagles all the way to the 12th round. Still lost. Should have won, in my opinion. Big fumble, couple drop passes. The game ends up being what it is. I'll say this. We're not scared of y'all. Dak is Dak. I think our defensive front really is better than the Philadelphia Eagles, and we'll see you tomorrow. That's what I'll say to you. But shout out to you for vibing with us tonight, man. Shout out to you. D'Angelo Doyle says Russell got one half of scoreless football in him until he gets benched. I do believe that. It's funny too because shout out to my man Charlie from Maine. Y'all know who Charlie is. Super negative. Almost want to wish they like wishing injury on players is crazy. Some people, I hope Russ twists his ankle that way we can see Dart early, or maybe Russ got to come out for a play for some reason and Dart gets in there. Like people want to see Dart bad. My only thing is this: just you see how we feel right now with Russ. If we throw Dart in there early and he doesn't succeed, imagine how we're going to feel after that. Excuse me. Imagine how we're going to feel after that if that happens. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. But I agree with you though. He got one half of scoreless. We can't go. Yeah, we can't go the first half without scoring touchdowns tomorrow. I'm sorry. And also, what was it? It was CeeDee Lamb. Anybody see the report? CeeDee Lamb said he got something for Andrew Phillips because last year he tackled me and he hurt me. Like what? Last time I checked, it's football. Last time I checked, you get tackled if you have the ball in your hand. That's what happens. They told Andrew Phillips about it. He ain't worried about it at all. Shook it off, laughed. I can't wait, man. Andrew, if all 11 guys had Andrew Phillips mentality, we'd be all right. I think we're turning it around on defense as far as mentality goes. We just got to make a couple more plays. Everybody got to get bought in. And it starts up front, starts with Dex. Again, I think Dex is absolutely out of shape right now. Didn't play all, dealing with the elbow, didn't really practice as much as he could or should because of the injury, they were holding him back, and we saw how gassed he was last week. Like he was out for 4, 5, 6 plays at a time, and we already know how the defense is without Dex being in there. So it is what it is. My man Capo 1974 says, "My boy Big Dash, what up, big bro? What's going on, Capo? I'm chilling, man. The energy is a little bit different this week. Energy is a little bit different this week. Last week, I was over the moon. This week, I'm really anxious to see if these guys are going to bounce back. I don't know if you guys can tell it in my energy. I'm like, I'm back to hoping. That's crazy. I had expectations. Now I'm back to hoping. Like, come on, guys, let's do this. Like, wake up. Score some points. And the energy shift is crazy. And the crazy thing about that is like I said, I go through cycles every year. If the New York Giants are bad, I go through cycles. Positive, optimistic, rah-rah. And then I start getting into that. Wait a minute, this looks very familiar. And then when it really goes bad, I go into super negative mode. And you guys saw me in January, and y'all know what it is. I go on a rampage. It's pure fire. Pure fire. Leo Lucas says, if the Giants win, the same fans complaining are going to be talking Super Bowl. They're going to be happy. I don't know if they're going to be talking Super Bowl, but they're going to be happy if we turn it around tomorrow. Some people are still going to be optimistic, like, hey, it's just one game. I want the one game. Give me the false hope. I need to see these guys play tomorrow and play well. Like, I need 21, 24 points tomorrow. That's what I need. And it's crazy. That's like league average. I'm not even asking for a lot. But that's what I need, though. That's what I need. Shout out to my man Ramdre81 with the $10 super chat. Hold on, let me get to my music. Hey, I need dollar is what I need. He says, how often do we see guys like Parsons, Watts, Bosa, Garrett, etc. spying the quarterback? We don't. We absolutely don't. Giants have a dog with Carter, but won't let him off the leash. I don't get it. That's a great analogy. You got a dog and you won't let him off the leash. Shout out to my man Ramdre. We got a dog, but we won't let him off the leash. That's fantastic. That's what it is. That's fantastic. See, Ramdre, I didn't want to rant. I wanted to stay positive going to this game. But I got to talk about this defense, and I got to talk about Shane Bowen. To your point, Ramdre, the number 3 overall pick, touted as one of the best edge rushers to come out of college in who knows how long, getting after the quarterback, fantastic bend, fantastic speed, violent, and what did you do? You gave him goggles and told him to go watch the quarterback. You gave him binoculars and told him to go watch that quarterback. You took the aggressiveness right out of him, and that's crazy. What's the number one thing coaches are supposed to do? What's the number one thing coaches? Play your players to the best of their ability. Put them in the right positions to, be the best that they can be. And you didn't do that with Abdul Carter last week. You didn't do that with Dexter Lawrence on some occasions last week. Dexter Lawrence has there's no reason for Dexter Lawrence to be lined up at 3 technique or the 4-eye technique. That's too far out. He needs to be 0-1 technique, period. Point blank, period. That's where he needs to be. Shane Bowen, I know he understands it. He's been coaching for too long not to understand that. He saw what the defense looked like under Wink. He has to understand that. This is not the Tennessee Titans. This is not the roster of the Tennessee Titans when you were there. You have to adjust your scheme to the players here. Now, I will say this, though. I do expect to see more blitzes tomorrow because they don't respect Dak Prescott running the ball. So you will see corner blitz here and there, maybe a safety blitz here and there. Definitely going to see a linebacker blitz up the A-gap. Maybe it's Abdul Carter. But you got to play your guys the correct way, and we didn't do that last week. I also will say this, too, as far as guys that did not get a jersey last week. Thomas Fidone, the tight end, was a healthy scratch. Darius Alexander, defensive tackle that we drafted in the 3rd round, was a healthy scratch. We had a UDFA that made the practice squad, that we signed to the practice squad, get playing time in the real game before your 3rd round draft pick. That's a problem to me. And then this week, allergies been terrible. Then this week, the defensive line coach, Andre Patterson, who I love Andre Patterson. I think he's a fantastic defensive line coach. He says that you don't want to rush Darius Alexander. You want him to bloom. Some crazy poetic explanation that he had for why Darius Alexander was not out there. I'm not, for me, really, I'm not trying to hear it. You drafted him in the 3rd round. Yes, he played for Toledo, but he's also 25 years old. A 25-year-old rookie, what are we talking about? He needs time to grow and blossom. He don't got that kind of time. He probably has one more contract before his NFL career is over. He needs to be out there on the field. He needs to be out there on the field. I don't understand it. And also, if you're talking about he's making all these strides, he's developing, how do you really know until you see him out there on the field taking real snaps? And another thing is this. In the preseason, we saw him getting double-teamed almost all of the time that he was out there. If he's on the field next to Dexter Lawrence, he's not getting a double team. I would like to see what he looks like without being double teamed. Like we gotta see him play, man. Just like Marcus Bowe. He's one of the top 5 offensive linemen on the team, but he's not starting. It's time to make those type of changes, man. Stop trying to be right your way and win games. That's my message to the coaching staff. Stop trying to be right and just win the game. Like Al Davis said, just win, baby. At the end of the day, we need a dub. We need a dub. We got Kylo. Hey, yo, shout out to Kylo. I sent you a shout out earlier, man. Thank you for the correction, autocorrect too. I fixed that in the title. He said, did you notice Russ' drop step was like 2 steps? He was not getting the depth that he needed. Absolutely. The interior was literally getting pushed into his lap because because he was so close to the line. He's short, shallow drops isn't helping. That's a fact. He was not getting the correct depth on his drops. I don't know if that was something that they coached because we've seen Russell Wilson drop. It's not like he forgot everything that he learned the 13 years that he's been playing. But you're absolutely right. When you're 5'10", your drops got to be a little bit deeper so you can get these natural throwing lanes. You can't see, even if it's a clean pocket. Even if it's a clean pocket, you're 5'10". All of your offensive linemen are 6'3" and taller. You can't see. You can't see, and that's why sometimes you saw him bail. I don't want to give him too many excuses, though. But you got to coach that, man. That's coaching. Quarterback got to get deeper in his drops. Now, you're absolutely right. That's a good catch, Kylo. Great catch. Dad's Life says DJ is fine, but he needed to go somewhere else. Change the scenery. Same thing with Evan Ingram. He says, and he did. It was the best for both parties. Wish him the best, but it's done and over. Move on. That's the fact. We ain't got to talk about DJ no more. It is what it is. Again, but like I said, some people are holding on. Some people like to say, I told you so. I saw that a lot on Twitter. I told you so. Listen, the best of luck to him. I would have said the same to Saquon Barkley, but he went to the Eagles. Had he went to Houston, I would have said the best of luck to him too. It ain't the best of luck for Saquon Barkley, though. He already got a Super Bowl too, so it's definitely not the best of luck for him. It is what it is. Leo Luca says, big things we must do tomorrow. Run the ball, just play good offense and defense. Run the ball, stop the run. That's simple. And let everything else open up from there. Again, when you have Russell Wilson, heavy play action, what do you need to be able to run successful play action? Be able to run the ball. Couldn't do it. And you saw what happened. Bad. DJ 100 grand says it don't matter what you do. You're not going to score in this contest. This is nothing but a Cowboys by week. Well, Cowboys by week. Cowboys Nation. It sounds good. DJ, it sounds fantastic. It sounds fantastic. Sound like a Cowboy fan to me. Wouldn't expect anything less. Chris D says, don't forget JJ Ball's out again. That's also an indictment on Shane. Oh, why? Because they didn't take JJ or Michael Penix. And we saw Michael Penix last year. It is what it is. But again, the biggest argument people are going to have is, well, we got Malik Neighbors that draft. Absolutely. And look, now we have Dart. And if Dart turns into something, all is forgiven. All is forgiven. I can't cry over that spilled milk, man. Listen, I did enough of that last year. My man Kylo says, who is the Commanders' O-line? Wasn't bad last year. Think their coach is familiar. LOL. Yep. Notice Joe doesn't really do interviews with Dabes like in the beginning. He's separated. Yeah, he's absolutely separating himself. He knows what he's doing. He already got a plan in place. He kind of did it last year. Like even at the end of last season, he says something that at the podium that, you know, it wasn't the players type deal. He said that. He slowly is separating himself, because at the end of the day, your GM's your GM, but your head coach. I think he's going to let Dable go through this year. Maybe you see Jackson Dart, maybe you don't. But if things go bad, I can see a world where Joe Shane fires Brian Dable and then goes and get another coach. I can also see a world where both of those guys get canned. We'll see what happens. So again, it's year 4. Year 4 in the regime. You should not look like this. I don't care what anybody says. It's year 4. Year 4. D'Angelo Doyle says we need Kayvon, Dex, Abdul, and Brian to have more than 8 snaps together. That's a fact. Talked about that a little bit earlier. Now that's a fact. It's downright disgraceful. And that's the disheartening part too, because we said that in the first half, and then when we get to the second half, we didn't see any adjustments made. They just kept running out the same defense, same soft zone on the back end. Not all the time. They actually ran a lot of man, but when it was zone, you can tell. Because all the receivers found the soft spot, either right in front of the linebackers or either right behind the linebackers. And it was Dart, it was Deebo Samuels, and those guys had a couple of drops too that could have been big plays. So I just need to see better. In a perfect world, you get pressure with 4. That's what Shane Bowen wants to do ultimately. He wants to be able to sit back and get pressure with the front 4. That's what every DC hopes that they can do. You don't want to have to take somebody away from coverage to send them on the blitz. You don't want to take players out of coverage. And that's what he ultimately wants to do, but we're not getting the pressure with 4 yet. And I think a lot of that has to do with the alignment. And again, a lot of that has to do with Dexter Lawrence being out of shape, because Tibbs did a good job last week. Did a good job. Brian Burns did a good job. Even Carter on some plays did a good job. When he was getting after the quarterback, there were some plays where he put the center in the, like. And I kind of see what Bowen was thinking, right? Because on the plays where you saw Abdul Carter lined up over the center couldn't do anything with him. Now I understand that's a mismatch that you want to exploit, but at the same time, you're putting Dexter Lawrence at the 3 technique. You have to find a way to have both of those guys clog in the middle if you're going to do something like that. You can't take the best player on the team away from what he does the best just because you want to see Abdul Carter. And he was successful when he did it, but at the expense of Dexter Lawrence being over the tackle or between the guard and the tackles. Come on now. Inside shade of the tackle. Dexter Lawrence doesn't belong out there. That's no man's land when it comes to Dexter Lawrence. Appreciate you, Q Cox, man. He said y'all got this. I hope so, man. I hope so. The Big Moo got the right. He says, thumbs up and subscribe, guys. Let's get Big Dash to 10K subs. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, we on the road to 10,000. We're almost at 9. Again, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for the love and support. It's all because of you guys that the channel is growing the way that it's growing. It's been 3 years. This is the 4th season. And yeah, man, I appreciate the love and support from all you guys. Again, y'all vibing with me, man. This doesn't happen without y'all. Shout out to my man Joseph Wilcox with the $5 super chat. He says, "Come on, man. Russ wasn't too short when he won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. He was getting pressure and knocked and flipped backwards. I agree. He lost his step. I will say this though. He was Houdini when he was with the Seahawks. He had special legs. Pause. He had special legs when he was with the Seahawks. He can do some things that he can't do right now. He's a little bit older, so now he has to rely on playing out of the pocket. And we see if he doesn't get the correct depth on his drops, the throwing lanes are not there. We got to figure something out, especially if you can't get the play action going. If you can get the play action going, then we're going to see Russ in some moon balls. But until then, it's going to be short out routes, deep digs, slants, and stuff like that. And I think we need to run a couple more slants too. If the Cowboys are going to come out in zone, depending on how much cushion they give the receivers, like if they give Neighbors 6 to 8 yards of cushion, short slants all day until they tell me they can stop it, or until the linebacker starts to shade. If that linebacker starts to shade, then you got to focus on that tight end up the seam. If that tight end up the seam gets covered, then we got to work that other side. Is it going to be Slayton? Is it going to be the running back out of the backfield? What are we doing? There's always a reaction, a counteraction to a reaction, or a reaction to everything. Like you got to play chess, checkers. One of those. You got to do one of those. There's always something you can do. It's always a what's the word I keep using at halftime? It's always adjustments that need to be made. If they take something away, you have to have another option. That's what we're not seeing. And if your line is not giving you the exact amount of time, again, this is not absolving Russell Wilson. I'm just saying the offensive line got to give you something. Give you a little bit. At least give your quarterback the confidence. Russ didn't play confident last week. He was worried about getting hit because he got hit early and often. Shout out to Joseph Wilcox again with the $5 super chat. Thank you for the love and support. He says, block for that man. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You give any of these quarterbacks time, they'll be able to pick you apart. You give Russ some time, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to pick you apart. He got to get comfortable, though. And right now, he's not comfortable. Whose fault is that? A little bit of his fault. Also, the offensive line. The blocking scheme, though. The blocking scheme for sure. Big Moose says, I can handle losing close games because we miss a play or two. I just need them to be competitive. That's it at the end of the day. I need to see watchable football, competitive football. Can you do that? Can you make me feel good about something? Pause. New says, who's the scapegoat this year? Brian Dable? New, I got a question for you. New. And yeah, you asked that question a while ago. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the front of the comments again. He says, who is the scapegoat this year for Brian Dable? Most likely Shane Bowen. I don't think anybody else. I don't think anybody else is a big enough pound of flesh to be a scapegoat. At the end of the day, Brian Dable got to step up. He got to step up. Let me get down to the beginning. Okay. Shout out to my man Craig in the building. He says, can we positively run the ball? That's the question. Right now, inside runs, no. We had a little bit of success on the outside, stretch and tosses. Let's see if we can do that. 12 personnel. Let's play bully ball a little bit, maybe. Can we get the guys moving forward? Greg Van Roten, I think he might have surprised me the most last week because, man, he was getting beat like a drum. And I didn't expect that from him. But guess what? Father Time is undefeated. Man, 36, 37 years old. At some point in time, the wall comes. And we might have saw it. We might have saw the beginning of the end for Greg Van Roten. I'm hoping that we see something better tomorrow. But listen, they got their hands full, man. Kenny Clark, Odighizuwa, those guys are going to be ready to play. And those guys, they're just as stout as the Commanders. In all honesty, Kenny Clark by himself, he might be the best defensive tackle out of the Cowboys and the Commanders team. I think he's better than Deron Payne. I think he's better than Kinlaw. So we'll see what happens. Evan Neal siding. I hope, Craig. Rom Dre 81 says, my biggest concern this year was Bowen and our depth. I don't think there's an issue with the depth as much. Because when you think about the rotation, like Nacho going from being a starter to being a rotational guy, that's good depth. You don't want him being your starter, but he should be able to come in for a play and do pretty good. Same thing for DJ Davis. You expect him to be a little bit better. So I think the depth is okay. When you look at the cornerbacks, that's a little bit iffy. But, yeah, man, I think the depth is better this year. It's just the starters got to play better, in my opinion. Joseph, that's true, man. He says, I just don't want Dart to get in there if the O-line sucks. Listen, man, unfortunately, right, because they made him the quarterback too, that means if anything happens to Russ, Dart is going in there behind whatever 5 they put out there tomorrow. Hudson's, the JMS's, the Runyons. That's who's going to be in front of him. We can't just wait for Andrew Thomas. Not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just saying I agree with you. If the O-line sucks, maybe his athleticism saves him. We saw it in the preseason where he was able to avoid the blitz with a nice little quick sidestep and get the ball out. Maybe him being, more athletic than other quarterbacks. Maybe that that's something that's in his favor. But it is what it is. Joe's saying that's a shame. Now, that's a fact. I see a Jalen Hyatt comment. Mega Giants 89 says Big Dash knows it's tomorrow finally the Jalen Hyatt big game. I'm glad you said that, man. Listen. Last week pissed me off, right? Because the way that the Commanders were playing us, right? After a while, they did not feel like the Giants were going to threaten anywhere down the field. The funny thing when it comes to Jalen Hyatt, despite what everybody says about Jalen Hyatt, whether you like him or you don't, when you think that he sucks, he's a bust, this, that, and the other, when he steps on the field, defenses pay attention to him. For some reason, that aura from Tennessee still follows Jalen Hyatt. The speed that he has still follows him around. So when he steps on the field, you see the safeties react. You see communication between the cornerbacks and the safeties just with him being on the field. So last week, when we couldn't get anything going, I felt like it was going to be the perfect time, even if he was a decoy, to put him out there on the field to give the defense something to think about. And he couldn't even get a snap last week. And I'll say this too, because I like Jalen Hyatt. You guys know that I like Jalen Hyatt. Even if you say he sucks, right? If you're not going to play him at all, why did he make the team? People liked Little Jordan Humphreys. People liked what's the kid, Montrell Washington. People liked what's the kicker name, Marset, Smith Marset. People like some of these other receivers that were on the team. If you were not going to play Hyatt at all, why is he on the team? You're not putting him on special teams. He's not covering kicks. He's not returning. And that's the part that makes me mad. That's the part that upsets me. Either you think he can play or he can't. And if that's the case, if you don't think he can play, why bury him on the bench? See if you can get anything for him. A 6th-round pick, a 7th-round pick. See what you can get for him if you're not going to play him. I still believe that if you put him out there on the field, there's a place for him. He got to prove that, though. But to back to your point, I hope so. Can we get a big game from him? They're down a cornerback. I put out a tweet earlier today, and I just was, messing around talking about strategy and how I would play, on offense. And the first thing I said is I'm putting Malik Neighbors in the slot. I'm putting Malik Neighbors in the slot. We already know Deron Bland is out, right? They had rumors about Diggs, following Malik around. Will he follow Malik into the slot? If he does, who's going to be the other outside cornerback? Who's going to be that guy? And then whoever that guy is, that's where the mismatch is. So whether it's Slayton or what's his name, Bo Collins, well, not really Wandell because he's not a threat down the field, but Hyatt, like those are your mismatch. We got to think, man. We got to think strategy. We got to think about what this team does the best and what they do the worst, where their weaknesses are, and exploit that, because that's what people do to us. When they look at the New York Giants, they say, Malik Neighbors. How do we stop Malik Neighbors? And then they build a plan outside of that. I don't know what the New York Giants do on defense. Well, I knew what they tried to do last week. It was Jaden Daniels. What can we do to stop Jaden Daniels? I know. Maybe we can spy him. And you did that, and it didn't work. And then you turned around on Thursday night And you saw the Green Bay Packers. Did they spy Jaden Daniels? No, they didn't. What did the Green Bay Packers do to Jaden Daniels? They blitzed him like crazy. They got pressure with 4, but they also sent constant pressure, and you saw what happened. That's 2 different coaches with 2 different ways of thinking. And our coach didn't do a good job. And it's easy for everybody to see. Stop being so scared of people and go after them. Stop being reactive, be proactive. And that's the problem with our defense. Our defense is reactive. We saw a couple of good plays where Brian Burns, beat the one-on-one and got to the quarterback. Quick pressure. Play dies like that. You can't sit back and watch these athletic quarterbacks. You can't sit back and do it because you're scared that they might beat you. Go after them. Send multiple people. Make them uncomfortable. And you saw Jaden Daniels was uncomfortable that entire game. You got a guy like Micah Parsons, winded. I swear he only came in on like 3rd downs. It was the first, 2nd down, and then 3rd down happened, and here come Micah Parsons. Everybody in the world knows what Micah Parsons is about to do. Get after the quarterback. And what did he do? Get after the quarterback just like that. So you telling me the younger, possibly better future Micah Parsons and Abdul Carter can't do the same thing? He absolutely can. Everything that Micah Parsons can do, Abdul Carter can do that. With even better bend on the outside. Parsons might be more versatile than him and a little bit better off the ball. But getting after the quarterback, that's what Carter was built for. Not the spy. And it's almost like you blame him for being so fast. Like it's like, okay, Carter's quick so he can be the spy. No, man, you're taking his strength away from him, and that's the part that I don't like. I didn't even want to get into last week's game, but you see how it happens. We crawl into these scenarios and these conversations. Shout out to my man Mark Stewart in the building. He says, salute Big Dash. What's going on, Mark? I appreciate the love and support. I saw the picture that you sent me with the Make the Giants Great Again hat. Thank you for the love and support. Make sure, hey, listen, at the end of the day, make sure you guys check out the merch store. The Make the Giants Great Again hat. You know what? I sold a bunch of them early in the year. And with the Giants looking the way that they're looking, might sell some more. But thank you again, Mark. Shout out to you. I know you can't wait for that home opener because I know you're going to be in the building. Shout out to my man, Mark, though. Dope Dez, 1967 with the $5 super chat. He says, I thought Joe was covering for Brian, but Brian is covering for Joe. Bad draft picks. Now, let's pump the brakes a little bit, Dope Dez. Actually, you're absolutely right because you're talking about the entirety. The entire 2023 draft class is literally non-existent. Banks is no longer a starter. JMS is a starter, but struggling. Everybody wants to replace him. Hyatt, nowhere to be found, buried on the bench. And then everybody else that was drafted in that class after that is no longer with the team. That was the 2023 class. That was your boy Joe Shea. Crazy. A whole draft class. Not getting the production that you need from them. Either they're all gone or you're not getting the production that you need from them. That's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. But then you look at the 2024 class and the 2025 class, you're almost ruining this class too. Your third round pick not getting a jersey, ridiculous. Your 6'6" tight end who could be a red zone threat or target at least, not getting a jersey. I can't respect that. It's crazy. You can't tell me he's not ready to play. I saw him in the preseason. The man got a 7-foot wingspan. Look like a damn pterodactyl out there. I bet you if you threw that ball at him in the end zone instead of Wan'Dale Robinson, he probably comes down with it. Because there's nobody else tall enough to guard him back there. 6'6", almost 6'7", 250 pounds on the side of the bench in a t-shirt. Your defensive tackle, 6'5", 310 pounds on the sideline in a t-shirt. 3rd round pick. When you look around the league and you look at other people's 3rd round picks, they're most likely starting. A lot of 3rd rounders start right away, especially on bad teams, especially on teams that need or have a position of need at D tackle like Darius Alexander is. It doesn't make sense. Unless you're absolutely wrong with Darius Alexander, and I don't believe they're wrong because a lot of people had a 2nd round grade on Darius Alexander. I don't think that many people are wrong. I think we're wrong by trying to hold them back and make sure he's perfect before you put him out there. That's what I didn't like. That's what I didn't like. Why mess? No, throw him out there. Throw him to the wolves. See if he survives. See what he's made of. Don't treat him like a baby. 25 years old. Throw him out there. Let him be disruptive. If he can be disruptive and wrong on a couple plays, fine. Just be violent. Set a tone. Get him out of there. Let him see let him see how the game should be played. But you can't hold him back with no jersey, no helmet. Like what are we doing, man? See, I don't want to get banned before the game. Hopefully tomorrow they correct that. Let's say that. My man Charlie Collins says start Dart second half. We'll see what happens. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. What's going on, man? Shout out to you, man. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. He said traded Leo when we did not have a backup plan for that position. 1,000%. Or here's another one for you. You keep drafting over the position that you just drafted. You drafted Daniel Bellinger. You traded for Darren Waller. You drafted Theo Johnson. And here we are in year 4 looking at Theo Johnson like, what's up with his hands? Why is he dropping so many? And Daniel Bellinger's up there making plays again. The one time he's targeted, guess what he did? He caught the ball just like he always does. Daniel Bellinger is my tight end 1. I don't care. Go argue with your mama about it. It is what it is. I know for a fact, if you throw the ball to Daniel Bellinger, he's not dropping it. He's not dropping it. He's making the play. Or he's drawing the flag. But the most important thing is whenever they target Daniel Bellinger, it's usually for a first down. We saw that last week. Kept the drive alive. Got the ball inside. Didn't do anything with it, though. Red zone offense got to be better. We can sit here and complain about a lot of things when it comes to these Giants, man. I just hope that we go into this game tomorrow and we leave the game with a W and we feel better. I don't know if I can go through another week of depression before I check out and then I become Mad Dash. Nah, it's way too early for that. Let's see, my man. I am somebody. Shout out to you. He says those 5 guys on the line have to hate what they saw last Sunday, and if they do, it should push them to play better. This is a former football player speaking from experience. Now, that's a fact. I remember those film days. You come back, you see what happened. You get an up close and personal just picture of what you did wrong, where you could have been better. You know, some plays where you got your butt whooped and how you could improve or what you did wrong. Like, these guys have to have some type of self-pride, especially when it comes to the offensive line. I know Greg Van Roten, after seeing the first play of the offense for the first possession, he's probably like, I'm ashamed of myself. No way should the defensive tackle do me like that. It was like an Allen Iverson crossover. Shout out to the people that were able to watch Allen Iverson. Some of you guys, I don't know. Some of you guys watched Allen Iverson. Maybe some of you guys. It was like a crossover. I'll even take it back even further. It was like a Tim Hardaway killer crossover. First play of the game. Greg Van Roten in a blender. Tyrone Tracy, 2-yard loss. Off the bat. Second play, let's chuck it downfield to Malik Neighbors. He's down there somewhere. Let me throw it out there in the stands because of and then third down, let me go a swing route to third and long, 3rd and 12. Let's do a swing route to Mondale Robinson and pray. I don't like the culture right now. They're not my friends right now at all. My man Joseph Wilcox says, and you're not going to get a number 1 receiver to complement Neighbors. No money. I will say this though, depending on where the New York Giants pick next year, there's some good wide receivers coming out with the body type that a lot of people are asking for. Everybody wants that big X wide receiver. And you got a couple of those guys coming out depending on where you're drafting. You got the kid from Arizona State, Tyson. You got Carnell from Ohio State that should be coming out, another 6'2", 6'3" guy. I think the guy from South Carolina is going to rise up the charts. The guy 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds, runs a 4.240. His name is escaping me right now. I know one of you guys know the kid from South Carolina, wide receiver. But Torber, something like that. But you don't have the money to go out there and get another wide receiver. You're not going to buy one. You got to find one in the draft. And then that way, if you do get that that big X wide receiver. You still got Darius Slayton that goes into his natural spot as a wide receiver 3 until proven otherwise. Again, I think he can be a wide receiver 2. He makes a step this year. He got to get the targets. We saw last week there was a touchdown that he could have had off the board, and then that deep shot where he was wide open. If he catches that, that's probably a touchdown too, and that's probably 60 yards plus. So just think about that. We robbed Darius Slayton from probably 80 yards and a touchdown last week, possibly. Like, what are we talking about, man? Wide receiver 2s, get those. Romdre81 says, another thing I don't get is why we phase. You preach to the choir, man. Why we phase Bellinger out of the offense? He's a solid tight end, but they kind of put him on the back burner. Listen, I did a whole video about a month old. The title of the video is Bellinger slander. Go ahead and watch that video. I go into a whole breakdown of what I believe happened and who I pointed the finger at. I don't want to get too deep into it. I pointed the finger at the coaching staff for putting them on the back burner, like you said. Perfect way to say it. Me and you on the same wavelength tonight, man. Shout out to you. Solitary Camp says, man, Hurts got more reps than Belly. Make it make sense, right? Right. Shout out to my man Prince Castro in the building. What's going on, Prince? How we doing tonight, man? Hopefully everything is good with you, brother. He says, hope they make a mad dash to the quarterback. Nah, listen. I hope so too. We'll see what happens. Solitary Camp says 50-0 Cowboys. You're not doing that. You listen. No more goose eggs against the Cowboys. That's not happening. And a 50 burger, get out of here. Get out of here. Not this year. Good Lord, not this year. Giants guy, we got to beat the Cowboys. That's a fact. That's something that has to happen. Something that has to happen. David Hernandez says we should trade Kayvon for a solid defensive tackle. Now, I will say this, David. I see where you're going. It's too early for that right now. Right now, let's see how Kayvon and his defense plays. If he continues to add value, who knows what happens at the trade deadline. Especially, well, we got him this year. We got him for his we picked up his 5th-year option. So we got him for this year and next year already. But if he plays well and we're not doing well, you might see, somebody on the trade block. Possibly. I do not want to get rid of good players because at the end of the day, then we got to replace Kayvon. And I don't want to keep on replacing good players. As bad as we want a solid defensive listen, we drafted one. Darius Alexander has to be the answer to that. He has to, in the words of Andre Patterson, Darius Alexander has to blossom into that defensive tackle that everybody's missing. He already has the body style, plays with the prototype of Leonard Williams. Somebody said it earlier. We traded Leonard Williams. I think it was Big Moose said we traded Leonard Williams without a replacement. Here we are 3 years later. Darius Alexander should be that guy. Got to get him out there on the field next to Dexter Lawrence. Until we see that, who knows what happens after that. Let's see. All right. Joseph Wilcox with the $2 super chat says, I'm talking about this season. I hear you. The chain. Listen, as much as people like to, close the curtain on the season, I'm not one of those content creators. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys. Unless you're talking about something different. I'm thinking you're talking about the people that are already closing the curtain on the season, or if you're talking about Darius Alexander this year. Okay, I see what you say. Since Darius Alexander is being held back by Patterson, according to the content creators, Art Stapleton, he will be held back another few weeks. That's wrong. That's the wrong plea for the kid. No, that's a fact. That should not be happening. I disagree with it. And listen, I don't disagree with Andre Patterson much. He's a good coach. He has a long track record. I respect what he says, but I don't like that decision. I do not like that decision. And I disagree with it as well. Loose Benz. What's going on, Loose Benz? He said, what's up, Dash? He said, how will we feel if we win against the Cowboys tomorrow? And how will we feel if Dak wins 14 straight games against the Giants, breaking all-time record? I see the coaching staff out by week 6. I'm gonna stick with the first part that you said. How do we feel if we beat the Cowboys? We're gonna feel fantastic if we beat the Cowboys. No matter how it looks, if we beat the Cowboys, the first thing that we're gonna do is be excited and we're gonna celebrate. It's gonna be a victory Sunday, victory Monday, and everybody takes a deep breath. If we lose to the Dallas Cowboys and Dak does continue his streak against the Giants, it's like the Titanic sinking. You got some people that go down with the ship, some people that are going to jump ship. And I can't wait to see who does what. For me, going down with the ship, 100%. 100% going down with the ship. David Hernandez says, if Russ and the offense score no touchdowns in the first half, does Dart come in the second half? I think he has to. I think you have to make a change, depending on how it looks. If it looks like if we don't score any points because the Dallas Cowboys are sitting in Russell Wilson's lap every down, I'm not putting Jackson Dart out there for that. I'd rather go to Winston. If that's going to happen. But if we're playing and it looks like Russ is the problem, there's plays out there on the field and his limitations are the reason why we're not being successful, you probably go to Dart. He seems like he's ready to play too. Kylo says, you think we put Dart in if we'll have the cut? No, I think what happens is this, right? Listen, you already paid Russ's money. You're right. The only thing that's left for Russ is the incentives. If he hits certain targets, he'll get incentive money. Now, this is my solution. If somebody wants to possibly trade for Russ, then you look at that option, but you don't cut him. I don't think you cut him. He still has enough knowledge. He can still help the young quarterback, and also I think his character. He's a good leader to have in the locker room. So you definitely don't want to lose that. As far as Jameis Winston goes, I saw a lot of people say to trade Winston for picks. No, in 2026, Jameis Winston will be the backup to Jackson Dart, and he's cheap, super cheap. And right now, we spent a lot of money. Yes, we can do some restructures, but you don't want to touch too many different deals. So just leave it as is, in my opinion. Don't like if we bench Russ, we don't need to rush to to cut him or anything like that. Because guess what? Not everybody's Eli Manning, not everybody's Iron Man. Guys go down. Multiple guys can go down, and then you're gonna want to have somebody like Russ on the squad for that too. Solitary Camp was laughing and said, "Trade Russ." Yeah. It's funny. It's funny to me too. I'm just saying. I'm throwing scenarios out there. I wouldn't do it though. And actually, like you said, might not be somebody for him. Might not be, especially if he doesn't look good. Trade value goes through the floor. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back to yours in a second. JC, David Hernandez says, yeah, but do you think Winston will be inactive again? You know what's crazy? Was he the emergency quarterback last week? Because I saw that he was inactive, but he did have shoulder pads on, so maybe he was the emergency quarterback out there. I don't like him being inactive. Listen, and this is just me talking to the NFL at this point. And I will be wrapping up soon because, again, I do want to see this boxing match. I never thought it was fair for players if you make the 53, not the practice squad guys, but if you make the 53, I never thought it was fair for you not to get a shoulder pad and helmets on Sunday or on game day. It does not make sense to me to dress 47 people, or is it 47, 46, whatever it is. If you made the team, you get the check, a game check, you deserve to have your jersey on. You deserve to have your helmet on the sideline, even if you don't play. And just think about it. These are important positions. These are important players. If somebody gets hurt, if you got to rotate, you got guys that are valuable sitting there in T-shirts. Because why? You can only dress 40. It never made sense to me. In college football, you can dress 90. It's 90 players on the sideline. If college can have 90 players on the sideline and helmets knowing damn well they're not going to play, the NFL can do the same with 53 players. But that's just me. That's my gripe against the NFL. My man Dope Dez says they got rid of Evan Ingram, got Waller, failed, and can't get the position right. The problem is this: they're just not using the right guy. Which tight end did we bring in here that was the most productive? Daniel Bellinger in his rookie year was the most productive tight end. I mean, I'll say this. Numbers-wise, Theo Johnson had a better rookie year than Daniel Bellinger, but impact-wise, it's not even close in my opinion. Not even close. Especially when it comes to catch rate. It's not even close. Daniel Bellinger is a sure thing. He might not be as athletic as Theo Johnson, but it's not off by much. It's not like when you see Theo Johnson catch the ball, do you see him breaking tackles? Not really. I need that from my tight end one. That's what the RAS score is telling people. That he can be that, he can take that next leap and be one of those dominant tight ends. and we have not seen it yet. 6'6", 270 pounds almost. Super athletic. Got a case of the drops though, and we can't keep putting that on the field. What if the quarterback lose trust in the tight end because he keep dropping the ball? Like, come on, what we doing? Luz Ben says we need merch for One Eye Belly. Nah, that's that's hilarious. That's hilarious. My man, is it Kuya Brad Pitt, right? Kuya Brad Pitt. Without fixing the O-line and the play calling doesn't matter. I'll say without fixing the O-line and play calling doesn't matter who the quarterback is. 100%. 100%. The Big Moose says Bellinger was the great trajectory was in a great trajectory until they broke his eye socket that derailed him. Now, a lot of people say that, Big Moose. A lot of people say that, and I always remind people he missed 5 games. He missed 5 games, but when he came back, he still made plays. Both Minnesota games, he made plays. So even after the eye injury, he still came back and made plays. And then the next year, when they moved him to the H-back, he was making plays as a fullback and stuff like that. He contributed. And then, like I said, once you get Theo Johnson, it's Theo Johnson, man hurts, and Bellinger gets in where he fits. And I don't believe that, man. I don't like that at all. And I think it's wrong. I do think it's wrong. JC G75 says if Theo was really like that, I don't think we would draft. Preach. Preach, man. Listen, oh man, I think injury had something to do with it, but I also think that like people forget Fedoni was drafted in the 7th round, but he was one of the top tight ends coming out of high school. Had a bunch of injuries at Nebraska, but he is a bona fide threat. A bona fide threat. You just got to get on the targets. I like Fedoni a lot. Why can't we have all 3 of those guys? Why can't it be Bellinger, Theo, and Fedoni? Man-Hurts, to me, Man-Hurts is the one that should be in a T-shirt on Sundays. I say that respectfully, too. Shout out to Man-Hurts, New York native. I say that respectfully, but when I think about this tight end room, I want guys that can affect both the receiving game and the blocking game. And Man-Hurts is strictly a blocker, in my opinion. All right. E-Banks says we got to give. We got to win this game. Was good, Dad. Shout out from the Grand Cayman Islands. Okay, shout out to you, E-Banks. Shout out to you. That's fantastic, man. Cayman Islands. Nah, man. That's the energy. That's the vibe. Got to win. Bottom line, Giants got to win tomorrow. Again, mathematically, you're not out of it if you lose. But you're definitely going to lose the fan base if you start 0-2. You like as far as not losing the fan base, but the fan base loses complete trust. Because right now, like even somebody like me, I'm looking at the Giants like, all right, show me a sign of life. I need to see signs of life. Are you breathing? That's what I need to see from the Giants, man. And but again, a lot of people are already out, man. Some of the people that I talk to, like. People are selling their season tickets. I don't know, man. Giants got to do something, man. Something got to change. Shout out to my man Steven Arts. What's going on, Steve? He says, does Dart come in? Everybody's been saying this. Everybody's been asking this. If we don't, I think it's an option. If we don't put any points up in the first half in the offense, it's just sputtering out there. You might see Dart. Unless that defensive line is just dominant and our offensive line looks horrible. And that's something that could happen too. Mega Giants 89 says Big Dash knows, were you a Randy Moss guy, a Terrell Owens guy, or both back in the day? I liked them both. I always thought that Randy Moss was better than Terrell Owens. And then I saw that Super Bowl. Super Bowl was it the Patriots versus the Eagles, even though they lost, when he came back like 2 weeks after with a broken leg and put on that performance. Terrell Owens was a do-it-all. Randy Moss, speed guy, height, weight, speed guy, the whole you got Moss stuff was that, but I was a Randy Moss guy. And then like seeing Terrell Owens in that Super Bowl made me a Terrell Owens guy. So respect them both. If I'm picking between the two, if I can have one of those guys on the team right now, it's Terrell Owens. You put Malik Neighbors with Terrell Owens. Yeah. You put Malik Neighbors with Randy Moss. You can't go wrong with either one. But I like Terrell Owens just a tad bit more than Randy Moss. I like Jerry Rice more than anybody. It is what it is. It is what it is. I saw another Imbo comment too. Let's see if I can find it. I think somebody was saying move Imbo to center. I can't find it right now, but somebody said move Imbo to center. I keep pushing against moving Imbo inside because I feel like I said, his feet are too good to be wasted on the inside. But right now, the way this New York Giants are looking, I'm with whatever. If it works, I'm with whatever. Next year, you can always put him back at his natural position. But right now, the way that I'm all about results, forget what I want personally. I want the results. I want to win. If he's a center and he's successful at it, so be it. So be it. So be it. Coach D said, laughing at proof of life. Yeah, I need proof of life for sure. For sure. Any battle rap fans like the Tay Rock is he dead kick? Like what's going on? What's going on? Hold on. He says Theo don't know the playbook but gets the reps. That was one play. That was one play where you got confused. I would hope that he knows the playbook. He was absolutely confused on that play too, and he got the ball on that play too. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it was just that one play. I don't know. No, there was actually another miscommunication, but that was in the preseason. Actually, wasn't it preseason or was it last week? Did Theo run the wrong route last week? Actually, I don't think so. I don't think so. But nah, you're absolutely right though. If he does, yeah, I think he knows the playbook. That one play though, he was confused. He didn't know what he was doing. Russ had to tell him to go in motion, and then when he went in motion, he kind of messed the snap up almost a little bit too, and then getting out into the flat, you know. And then once he got the ball, turn and run up, get upfield. That's the one thing that's what separates Theo Johnson from a lot of other. When you look at some other tight ends, when they turn and run, they're hard to get down. To me, Theo Johnson is too big to be getting tackled as easy. Like, one man shouldn't bring down Theo Johnson. Like, we see George Kittle. George Kittle, it take 3, 4, 5 guys to bring down George Kittle. I can't have a cornerback. I can't have a cornerback getting Theo Johnson down. Like, that does not make sense to me. Stiff arm, run through him. I don't know. He's a little bit too easy to tackle, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that. And we are going to wrap this thing up in a second. Again, I want to see this fight. Solidary Camp says at the goal line as well, Big Dash, when we threw the ball to him. Yeah, listen, that replays in my mind all this week. The Big Moose says Abdul better play more than 50% of the snaps tomorrow. I think he will. Again, I was pissed off at what Shane Bowen said though. They're sticking with Mursal, you know, as the fill-in for Mike and McFadden, and they're going to keep doing what they're doing with Abdul Kader. Now, listen, he could have just been saying that, lying to people, playing chess or bluffing, playing poker, something like that. I hope that's true, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. If we see the same thing early, because they don't make one thing about Shane Bowen, he is not making second half adjustments. Wink Martindale made second half adjustments, and we saw it right away in the third quarter. Not with Shane Bowen. Sean Jackson, what's going on, Sean? He says, "What up, Big Dash?" He says, "How does a week 2 game carry so much importance?" Shaking my head. It is what it is. Dallas is the only NFC East team Coach Dabes hasn't gotten a victory against. That's a fact. This losing streak against Dallas needs to end ASAP. It's going to end tomorrow. I'm gonna put it out there in the universe. That's what we're doing. Tomorrow it ends. Coach D says Imbo feet is why, and his nasty is much needed. I'd give him the decision, see if he takes it for the next 10 years. At the end of the day, yes. If there's not a better option, then you kick him inside. For me, he's young, great feet, like you said, nasty demeanor. We saw him on edge, both right tackle and left tackle. I'm thinking about Andrew Thomas's future. Like, keep him on the outside and play him right now. Like, the best thing, right? Like, James, I don't need to see James Hudson anymore. If we're going to struggle, because James Hudson struggled. I'd rather struggle with the rookie out there getting the reps. And maybe he performs better than James Hudson, which I think he would. I got to see it, though. It's not like we're some Super Bowl contender where we got to play the guys. No, try some things out. Get these guys out there, see what you got early in the season. The better they get now, the better they'll be for years to come. We got to do something, man. We can't keep. Van Roten is not a long-term solution. Runyon might not be a long-term solution. JMS is looking like if we had a better center, he might be replaced already. It is what it is. All right, David Hernandez says, what's the number one reason you think JMS hasn't worked out? Should we have not picked him? Bad development, what's going on? Now, listen, for those that know, maybe you do, if you've been following me long enough, I loved JMS coming out of college. I watched his tape. He just seemed solid all around. Not great, not spectacular, but he was solid. He was a solid, well-rounded center. Plug-and-play center. I'm not the only person that said it. The crazy thing about JMS is this. 6'3", 310 pounds, right? He looks like he's 5'10", like 290 pounds out there. I've never seen 6'3", 310 pounds look so small in my life. His main issue was this. Now, he dealt with the injury. He had the neck injury, he had the shoulder injury. As a center, what are we talking about? Two of the most important muscles that you need, or two of the most important body parts you need, shoulder and your neck, especially if you're down there blocking, snapping and blocking. He got to be stronger. And that's it. He's just getting bullied. That's what it is, bullied. He doesn't really give you any value at guard. He is a straight up center. Not the strongest when it comes to pulling. I thought he was good enough to get to the second level, but we're just seeing him getting bullied out there. Now, when you look at the grades, last week's grades, he graded lower than Van Roten and graded lower than John Runyon. But when I watched the tape, I think that he did a better job than both of those guys. I even saw him pick up a stunt that Runyon missed. But again, the grades are the grades. PFF is PFF. It is what it is. But outside of that, he's just getting bullied. I went around the world. That's my short answer. He's just getting bullied out there. And that's what it is. And we've seen smaller centers, smaller but stronger centers, be more successful. Like Kelsey, probably goes down as one of the best centers ever. He's considered small. Small guy. Dominant. First person I seen ever stonewall Dexter Lawrence one-on-one was Kelsey. Now he gives Dexter Lawrence the utmost respect, but it is what it is. We're going to get through a couple more comments, and I'm going to shut this thing down again. I'm going to go watch this fight with my family. Again, I got Bud Crawford. I didn't see too many predictions. We got 116 people in the building. I wanted, if you're a boxing fan, let me know who you got. Canelo, Bud Crawford. Put it in the comment section. Also, it's prediction time. I want to see some predictions for the Giants versus Dallas game tomorrow. Let me get some predictions, and then we're going to close this thing out. The Big Moose says Joe Shane's biggest problem is he refuses to give up on his draft picks. True. He'd rather make them healthy scratches like Neil and don't. That's what I'm saying. Big Moo. I don't know if you was here when I first said that. I said that in the first hour. They rather be right than win, and that's the craziest thing ever. I'm seeing a lot of people say Crawford, Bud. Yep, Canelo. Respectfully, hey, it is what it is. A lot of people got Canelo right now. Bud is the underdog. So if you say Canelo, I ain't mad at you. Dope Dad says don't bet against Canelo. Fighter's Destiny says 30-6 Cowboys. Dorothy Slippers says 23-20. Giants 23, Dallas 20. Charlie Collins says 23-30 Giants. Coach D, Dolphins need a rookie quarterback, not bailing 36-year-old Russell. Okay. What else we got? Mega Giants says Giants 20, Cowboys 17. Stephen R says, Bud, I'm PR, so I'm going for a Mexican fighter. It's like Giants fans rooting for the Eagles. Okay. PR, Puerto Rican. I got you. Joseph Wilcox says Giants 21-17. Donald Newsom says Giants 26, Cowboys 23. Solidary Camp says we couldn't even score on the Commanders. 50-0 Cowboys. Joseph Wilcox says you missed a super. I missed a super chat. My bad. Hold on, I'll get to it. Big Moose says Giants 24, Dallas 23. Sean Jackson says week 3 could be a dangerous scenario for the Giants if they go into the Chiefs game 0-2. The Chiefs are also 0-2 leading to Sunday Night Football. Can you imagine Dart Sunday Night Football soap opera? Yeah, that would be something. Beloved Mercenary says 21-17 Dallas. Low Flame, what's going on, Low Flame? Joe couldn't draft a lineman if his job counted on it. Going over for listen, and Bo is different. Bo is different, but you're absolutely right with everybody else. Bo is different. Fight is Destiny says, bruh, what offense have you guys been looking at? I'm seeing a lot of 20s. Laugh out loud. That's what you call hope. Hope, Fighter's Destiny. Your name is Fighter's Destiny. You understand what hope is. Solitary Camp is laughing at that. Like for real. Nah, that's a fact. Here's my deal. We score 24 points, we win the game. Because I think our defense can hold Dallas to 20 points. Kelvin Davis says guest got off, but I'm in this thing. 21-17 Giants. Sean Jackson says Giants shock the world 28-24. Let me get to the super chat. Joseph. All right, there we go. Joseph Wilcox with the $2 super chat said if we can run the ball, we will beat the Cry Boys. Now that's a fact. Football 101, run the ball, stop the run. Now you're 100% right. That will never change. What we got, 120 years of football, something like that, 100 years of football. Run the ball, stop the run. That will never change. Shout out to my man Dope Dez with the $5 super chat. He says they got rid of. Oh, I already got that one. I don't know how I missed yours, Joseph. I apologize, brother. I apologize. So, yeah, we're going to wrap this thing up again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be going live for the post-game wrap-up. And hopefully, it's a victory. Shout out to my man Ramdre said 7-6 Giants. That would be such a Giants game, right? Such a Giants victory. David Hernandez says, all right, bro, enjoy the fights. Have a great night, man. Let's go, Big Blue. Thank you very much. Hold on. Coach D says we don't even have a fullback. We have a fullback / defensive tackle that's on the practice squad. Elijah Chapman. Oh, Solidarity Camp, he says, who do I have? I got Bud Crawford. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, that's exactly who I'm going with. Dope Dez, perfect. Well, actually, hold on. I'm coming right back to you, Dope Dez. My man Steven R says the Giants win tomorrow. How much time does that buy Russ to start throwing Dart? As long as they're winning, Dart's getting placed on the back burner. That's my prediction. Unless we're winning, but it's because of the defense and the offense is sputtering, and they feel like they can get more out of the offense if Jackson Dart plays. So again, as long as we're winning, Russ has a good chance of keeping his job. If we're losing, Russ is out of there. If we're winning, but the offense is still sputtering, you're most likely going to see Dart. I appreciate you, Joe. He says, no worries, Dash. Now, listen, I missed the super chat. I apologize for that. I appreciate the $10 super chat as well. Russ, listen, all right, we're not going to do that. Where was I at? My man Big Moose says, see you at the post-game victory, Big Dad. That's it. That's the perfect one to end this one on. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And for one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation.